Hey guys, my name is Diana Dwyer and I'm the founder and CEO of Elusive Beauty. So, we're going to have a little chat about the science of natural lashes. This is something that I'm interested in as a lash artist and a cosmetic science student. I find this stuff fascinating, and especially because a lot of the information that we have out there really doesn't focus on lashes as a study of hair. It focuses more on hair all over your body. So, specializing in this area is pretty cool. Okay, so more than likely, you know what lash extensions are. You're probably a lash artist or somebody who gets eyelash extensions. You know that eyelash loss can be basically broken down into two distinct categories. Category number one being synthetic lash application. So, this involves actually having a synthetic lash applied to your natural lashes. What causes that to fall off? That's generally something that we focus on with retention. It could be from products. Anyways, that's a whole other video. For this video, and for the purpose of this, we are going to solely focus on the natural lashes in terms of the growth cycle and the three phases that we go through, as well as what factors contribute to that. So, the very first factor that contributes to the natural lash growth cycle would be mechanical, followed by chemical and psychological. Those three factors. So, again, we have psychological, mechanical, and chemical factors. So, even moderate stress can cause lash shedding. We also have mechanical stimulation, which can encourage lash growth. And then we have potential influence of chemicals such as topical drugs and hormones, which falls under the chemistry category. Now, keep in mind that chemicals have the ability to either accelerate or disrupt the cycle. So it can make that cycle go much quicker, or it can stop it completely. So I've been a lash artist for almost 10 years, and there's nothing worse than getting that text message from a client, be like, my lashes all fell out. And you're like, I did everything right though. I used the right adhesive, I checked the humidity, I checked the temperature, I had everything stored properly. I was so good with applying the synthetic lash to the natural lash, but the lashes still come out. And I mean, that doesn't mean that the natural lash slides off, or sorry, that the synthetic lash slides off the natural lash. By no means. That just means that the natural lash. So, in order for us to understand how these subcategories play a role, we need to have a clear understanding of the lash growth cycle and the three phases. One of my favorite acronyms, I use this every time I'm training, ACT GTR, anagen, catagen, telogen, growth, transition, and resting phase. So, let's take a look at this diagram. And in the diagram, you'll notice that on the left-hand side, it's the epidermis, dermis, the subcutaneous tissue. On the right-hand side, there's things like the hair shaft, that part that's above the skin. So these are the lashes that you're actually seeing, right? You can't see anything below underneath the skin. We don't have those kind of powers with our own naked eye. But these little things right here would be technically the lashes, and these are technically dead, just like the hair on your head is dead. Then we have sebaceous glands, we have a hair follicle, a hair root. The erector pili muscle is not something that's present in lashes. That is what causes your the hair on your arms to stand up. Like if you get goosebumps, that's because of that muscle. The lashes do not have that. There's the hair bulb, the hair papilla, the nerves, and blood vessels. When we look at that lash, like right here looking at my lashes, I can see the cuticle, and that cuticle actually has like up to like 10 different layers, which really plays an important role in terms of products and like what we use, because it all has to do with the porosity of your lashes. Then on the inside, we have the cortex, and this cortex, it basically gives the lash its strength and rigidity. It's very stiff composition, and like lashes are pretty durable. Then the very inside is the medulla. That's the inner layer. And this is the cells that contribute to the overall structure of the lash. And additionally, melanin is produced in the cortex. This diagram again. So, what's happening here is we have the hair follicle, hair root down here. So, hair is what hair has what is called a hair root, which is found below the skin, below the epidermis. The hair shaft is the part that's visible outside the skin. So that's just what we went through. Remember that lash that we can actually see. Down at the base of the root, there is a bulb where the stem cells are found, which divide in the process called mitosis. So stem cells are actually giving rise to the hair, these protein, keratin-like structures. That's what's causing your lashes to come out of your skin. It's the stem cells. Also found in the bulb is melanin, which gives pigment to the lashes. So you wonder why some people have light lashes, some people have dark lashes. That's because of melanocytes. The keratin, the protein here, it stacks up on one another, making the lashes really durable. So the lashes are basically just, again, a bunch of proteins stacked up on one another. We also have a gland called a sebaceous gland, which makes sebum. I know sebum's such a gross word, but it's something that we should all be aware of. Sebum is what our body naturally produces. And it's really important that we know that these capillaries that are found here, they support stem cells and melanocytes, and they give delivery of nutrients and oxygen. Now, sebum does two important things. Number one, it forms a seal over your skin, making your skin almost waterproof, so that it just rolls off. So think about the sebum around your eyes. And we always say, or we used to say to lash clients, you don't want to get your lashes full of oil, or you want to make sure you remove the oil. There's a healthy amount of oil, sebum, that should be there, because by removing it, what we're doing is we're actually making our lash follicle, this area here, more susceptible, because there's no waterproof aspect there when we remove the sebum. Secondly, so sebum protects us from microbes, and that meaning viruses, bacteria, all kinds of yucky stuff. What that does is it protects us from ending up with an infection. So if we have lash extensions on and we're constantly washing our lashes and getting rid of all that sebum, does that not make us more susceptible to infections? Something to think about for sure. So let's just go over the growth cycle again. We have anagen, which lasts about 1 to 2 months. And usually 50% of your lashes are in this stage at one time. So you can see down here, this is where the root is. The stem cells are going to be here pushing the protein and melanocytes up so that it comes out of the skin here. And then that would be the lash that we begin to see. Then what happens? Degradation. So catabolic. You can always use that to remember it. This lasts about 15 days, and this is essentially where the catagen phase is where the hair starts to recede from the bulb up towards the surface. And again, 15 days, so things are getting cut off from the blood supply here. And then at last, we have the telogen phase, meaning the resting phase. So there's no more proteins being added. The bulb is starting to pinch off and it will eventually die. The stem cell population, so what's causing the lashes to grow, is no longer present. They are not active at all. Oxygen, stem cells, nutrients, stimulation, and appropriate hormones to support the growth here. The telogen phase lasts about 4 to 9 months. So that's something else that I think we never really pay that much attention to as a lash artist. You think that people are coming back throughout the year having multiple cycles, and that's not the case. If a cycle lasts approximately 4 to 9 months, you may have one client or many clients that only go through a shedding period one time throughout that year. Alrighty, so this diagram is something that I think that we should come back to after I go back over here. So when it comes to psychological factors, that would have to do with stress. You really do not want to be stressing, and I know it's easy to say that because It's obviously easier to give advice than to take it, but stress will cause your natural lashes to shed more often. In terms of the mechanical aspect, you've heard of micro needling for your skin and massaging for your skin. And what that does is it increases blood flow, increases oxygen, nutrient delivery. This is the same for lash follicles. So, what you'll be seeing now in the future, especially 2024, more people will be taking home micro needling options for their lash follicles right along the lash line. There's actually a couple places that are offering this service right now throughout the world. And what that does is it stimulates the follicle and allows for the growth of the anagen. So it kind of stimulates that anagen phase. What you could think about doing if you own a lash salon or studio is adding in massages to lashes or brows just to help stimulate that. And maybe you'll look into the micro needling or nano needling for the lash follicles. In terms of chemical factors, those have everything to do with our hormones and the drugs that we use. For instance, if you're taking Cialis, yes, women can take Cialis. If you take Cialis, that can cause your hair to grow more all over your body. And if it grows more all over your body, then your lashes are going to grow as well. Also, in terms of chemical, um, there's so many different drugs that you can take, like minoxidil and things like that, to help stimulate hair growth. And that will also stimulate hair growth all over the body, because when you're taking ingestibles like that, it tends to do that. If you have a topical form, it can tend to penetrate just that area. So there's caffeine. Caffeine is so hot right now. So many people are using it as a topical treatment to grow their lashes. That being said, studies show that if you use a chemical and mechanical treatment in one, then your lashes will grow that much quicker. The hair on your body will grow that much quicker. So I anticipate a lot more serums that have caffeine available in them that will also be used in conjunction with massaging or microneedling around the lash lid. But in our next video, what we'll do is we'll talk more about these chemicals and mechanical aspects, as well as like the hormones and new products and things like that. That'll be all in tomorrow's episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is my first YouTube video, and I gotta say, I probably no, I definitely recorded at least 10 times and stopped, among having all kinds of technical issues, because electronics are not my strong point. But yeah, I'm excited to really get this channel going and hopefully start some conversations and be able to talk to some people that are also interested in this area of cosmetic science and this in-depth information on lashes, brows, and spray tans. I am signing off, and thank you again for watching. If you want to follow me, you can check out the information on the next slide over and give me a follow, and I'm happy to follow you. Thanks, guys. Mwah. Have a great night.